Ah, fuck. Hey everybody, Lindsay here, and this is my review for A Quiet Place. I really like this movie. I thought it was pretty good. We've had a pretty good run of horror lately. Hopefully it continues. There was very little that I didn't like about this movie. I liked the acting, I liked the writing, I liked the way it was shot. I liked the fact that it was very, very quiet. One of the biggest things I liked about this movie is that it showed you things, it didn't tell you things, because it couldn't tell you anything, because none of the characters really spoke throughout the whole film, so you couldn't get expository dialogue. The exposition came through with what happened on the screen and also what you saw on the screen. And the biggest exposition dump is when you see the basement where the father is working on, keeping the family safe and tracking the movement of these beings and what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. You see all these newspaper clippings with all these headlines that kind of give you the backstory. Just enough of what you need to buy into the story. I loved all the performances in this movie, but especially Emily Blunt. I think she was the star of the movie. The whole sequence from the time that she's doing the laundry to where she's in the bathtub giving birth, I was completely on the edge of my seat and my hands were in front of my face the whole time. It's been quite a while since a film has made me feel that tense and that nervous and that on the edge of my seat. I thought the girl that played the daughter did an excellent job, even though her character pissed me off a couple times. But overall, she did a very good job. And the more I think about her character, the more terrifying it seems. Because imagine a world where you can't make a sound, but also don't know when you're making a sound because you can't hear anything. Yikes. I thought John Krasinski did a fine job. He kind of had one level, and that was just stressed out, worried the entire time. That was kind of his mode, so we didn't really get to see a lot of facets of his character, but nonetheless it was good. There's a lot of people that are talking about one big plot hole of this movie, and I don't think it's a plot hole, it's something that isn't addressed in a lot of movies, and but in this movie it takes special significance because if you make any kind of noise, these monsters will come after you. I mean, if you sneeze or cough or choke or burp or fart or anything along those lines, you got a pretty big problem on your hand. I mean, if this was an Adam Sandler film, all these characters would be fucked.
All right! I ate bad guacamole and I couldn't stop shitting. It means I can't stand you being here. Shut up!
Really, that only came to mind a few times while I was watching this movie. Other than that, none of that kind of stuff bothered me at all. That's just part of the suspension of disbelief when you go see a movie, is that kind of stuff falls by the wayside, and that can be okay. The movie can still be good and you can still enjoy it. I didn't realize how intense it was going to be, but it went in pretty hard right away. I mean, in the first few minutes of the film, they kill a 5-year-old. That's pretty intense. That kind of sets the tone for the entire film, that, anyone could go at any time. Another thing I really liked about this movie is that even though there wasn't any dialogue, they did a good job of establishing the relationships between the characters and how they interact with each other and what purpose each character has. And that makes you relate a lot to these characters, and it makes you really care about what happens to them. There were great moments of terror and suspense in this film, where you are just cringing the whole time in a good way, not in a bad way. And you are just on the edge of your seat. At least I was. There are really only two things in this film that bothered me. They didn't take me out of the movie really, and they didn't ruin the film for me. I still thought it was a great film. But there were two things I was just kind of like, okay. When John Krasinski's character dies, when he sacrifices himself to save his children, he lets out this yell to attract the attention of the monster. And I don't know why, but it just the way he yelled struck me kind of funny. And the other thing was the ending. They took so much time during the film to be very careful with the sequences and make it somewhat realistic, and it very much set a tone for the whole film. And then at the very end, when Emily Blunt has the shotgun and the daughter's putting her cochlear implant up to the microphone, and they kind of give each other a look like, yeah, we got this, and she racks the shotgun and then the screen goes black. I thought that was just a bit on the cheesy side. I thought they could have done the ending a little bit better, handled it with a little more subtlety, but like I said, it didn't ruin the movie for me. I still thought it was pretty good. So overall, I really liked this film. I hope we see more of this kind of stuff. The writers did an interview where they said that there was a possibility of this film becoming part of the Cloverfield universe. And I'm really glad that that didn't happen, because I think that would have kind of pushed the cheese factor and the schlock factor just way over the edge. And I don't think it would have been nearly as effective or done nearly as well as it did if it had become a Cloverfield movie. So I'm very glad that it didn't. I'm glad they left it the way it was. I thought it was very effective. It was a breath of fresh air when it comes to horror movies. And I hope we get more of this kind of stuff in the future. And there was only one thing I was really confused about, and I don't know if I just missed it or I didn't see it. There was some reference to it earlier that I missed, I don't know. But when the basement starts flooding, where is that water coming from? Someone please tell me, because I can't figure it out. I don't know if they had like water barrels or something that they were keeping drinking water in or something. So someone, if you know if you saw or got the little nod to where that water was coming from, please let me know. As far as the creature design, it was interesting. I like the fact, they're blind, they see things by hearing them. And I also like that we didn't really see the monsters until the end. We got little pieces here and there. We saw them moving quickly through the forest and stuff, and we saw what kind of damage they can do. But as far as when we actually finally get to see the full body picture of the monster, I'm glad they waited towards the end. Yeah, and also about that birth scene. In Scientology, don't they have a thing where they do a silent birth? Where there's no one can talk and the mother can't make any noises and there's no drugs. Fuck that. So yeah, if you haven't seen A Quiet Place, definitely check it out, especially in the theater. This is the kind of movie where you really want to see it in the theater. This is Lindsay, signing off. Until next time. Check you later.